Hey world, Dave here with Zero to Dev. I'm just doing my regular weekly check-in now. It's going to be my second one. Really happy about that. And basically just talking about the state of the channel, my progress, where I am so far in my course. I'm using FreeCodeCamp as my learning structure, just kind of like a syllabus. And I'm also supplementing with a lot of video tutorials, whatever else I can get my hands on, basically, along the way. So with that, let's talk about it. How is FreeCodeCamp going? FreeCodeCamp's going actually pretty good. I am, I'd say, about a little over halfway through the first certificate. I still have not gone to go back to see what the name is of the certificate. But it's basically the first one you take when you create an account with FreeCodeCamp. A beginner's one, of course. I'm a little over halfway through it. I'm taking some time right now to go back and basically review with practical projects. I'm watching a lot of tutorials that are basically just doing like a responsive website, how to make one from the ground up. Just going through and following those to get a little bit of practical experience and just get more comfortable with building a page from the ground up, period. It's going all right. I definitely have a lot on my plate. I'm sure as many of you, especially if you're first-time self-teachers with web development, can understand there is a lot of material. I mean, a lot of the stuff is free, which is really good. I'm really happy about that, but there's still a lot of material you basically still have to learn and understand and know how to practice to get the job. And that's pretty much either that would be a good goal. I definitely would be interested in either obtaining a full-time job as a developer, or if there is a way that I can make something, some kind of progress with this channel and monetize it in whatever way that I can make a living for myself, that would be great too. Maybe freelancing or doing something similar. And I'll record all those and talk about it, because that's a lot of what this channel is going to be about. Once again, I'm not somebody who just got a job with some high-paying firm, or who got a tech job a year or 2 years ago and now just want to talk to you about it. I'm a guy going through it right now. I was working in the trades, as I've mentioned before. I was laid off, and basically me and my family had a discussion, and it came down to they wanted to support me getting into tech, and more or less they're just providing the roof over my head while I struggle with unemployment, like possibly many of you are. I'm trying to get that all figured out. I have a couple reasons why I can't really get back to the field I'm in. Probably the biggest one is because I'm actually technically classified as a high-risk person. I'm still in the process of getting that all set up, but this is from stuff that I've known for a couple of years now, based on appointments I've had with doctors, etc. So I definitely, can sympathize with people who are struggling and having to work right now, and maybe being exposed to things they don't want to be. I understand, and but believe me, to be honest, I want to get back to work. I want to work. I'm doing this channel. This channel is basically like a full-time job already. I spent 7 hours yesterday just struggling to get familiar with the photo editing software I'm using for the channel, and it took me about 7 hours, and I was actually trying to come up with a thumbnail for my video, my first tutorial on links. And after 7 hours, I still cannot come up with anything. So it's not just a matter of learning the stuff. I'm also getting experience just putting everything together. I mean, I'm doing pretty much everything. I hope to do an animated intro in the future too. And even that, I'm going to be doing everything. I'm going to design it, find the software to animate it out with. I'll do the music for it, just all that stuff. And see how it all goes. So yeah, there's a lot on my plate. I have a lot to balance with those things, but I do hope that if I'm able to make something of this, then people can look and see these videos and can feel some kind of motivation that maybe they can do it too. Because believe me, I'm not an above average guy or anything. I'm not rich or particularly well off or have any kind of, I don't have a rich uncle who's just going to pay to take me to whatever tech boot camp or developer boot camp, whatever you want to call it. I'm a guy who, I get up in the morning, I do my little exercises, and then I pretty much just get to work as trying to learn this stuff, trying to make something with it. It's not easy times. I'm sure there are a lot of employment complications in the tech field. It seems like it hasn't been hit as hard as maybe some of the other industries. I guess you can say that in some ways. Once again, I'm not working in it. I wouldn't be able to tell you for sure. But regardless, this is something I've wanted to do for a long time. And I ran into this situation before. I wanted to get into tech originally back when I was getting out of high school. This was several years ago. And that was when the economy had crashed and everything was going down. And it was actually before Facebook came out. And I remember specifically about that time because I saw an article, I forget where I saw it, but I'm sure you could Google it, where they were basically questioning whether the tech industry was even going to exist in the United States anymore. I mean, there were lots of concerns about overseas work and blah, blah, blah. And so back then I did have a chance to get into it or to try to get into it. I didn't do it. I couldn't afford the college. That was the main thing. But otherwise, I didn't get into it. I didn't even try to learn it at home. I mean, I did on and off in little ways, but I was never really seriously thinking about pursuing a career in it until now. I just decided, forget it. It's worth it. What I was afraid of was wrong. The industry ended up skyrocketing here and all over the world. I mean, I think what's going on now is we do have a fundamental change in society in general all over the world, and tech is going to be something that's heavily needed. And I really do wish that back then I had at least started studying this stuff on the side while I was going through my other work. But once again, this channel is all about just picking yourself up, dusting yourself off, and just going at it. I'm going to be going through this journey, and once again, hopefully you can get something from this. Hopefully it motivates you, or hopefully it just encourages you to try to pursue something. It might not even have to be tech. I used to work in the trades, and I think the trades are fantastic. I would highly encourage anyone who maybe has to watch this because they feel forced to do it, but maybe they go, hey, I want to work with my hands instead. You can check out the Reddit, the trades Reddits. There are lots of ex-programmers, ex-engineers who come out and they want to try working with their hands and making a good living doing it. And the trades do have a lot to offer in terms of that. But this is just the tech is just the direction I want to go in for now. I'm more or less kind of stuck having to go in it because there's not really much else I can do, and I don't have too many resources to pick up and just go to college again. I'm once again, I'm not rich. My family's not rich. We're just trying to get by. I was caught off guard pretty good by this COVID thing, as many people were, I'm sure. So basically that's where I'm at. Otherwise, in terms of what else we can be covering, I will be doing some videos on a little bit more on how I'm studying. I do want to talk about the little tricks I'm using. I'm using some memory tricks to memorize stuff like this. I understand you're not supposed to memorize the code perfectly. You don't have to, but I understand as a beginner, a lot of people do get some satisfaction. I do too, from just being able to know that they can whip something like this out. Even if it's automated now with Atom. Atom lets you make snippets and stuff. That's great, but it's just a psychological thing, and I think it helps me at least stay motivated knowing that I can whip something like this out really quick. And I'll be showing a video where I discuss the technique I used to be able to memorize something like this in probably about 10 minutes. Realistic. I know it sounds crazy, but there are ways to do it. I don't apply it to everything. I'm not memorizing every piece of code like that. But for certain things that I want to understand or certain things I feel like I need to learn, it's not just the code itself. You can apply it to the concepts, and you'll see I bring it up a little bit in the video on how to make links. So if you're interested in getting a preview of what I'm going to be doing, I actually would highly recommend you check out my video on how to make links in HTML5, and it'll give you a good idea of what I'm working on. It's not the typical way of studying. But I do think it's very, very powerful stuff, and if you can apply it and learn it and practice it a bit regularly, I do think there are a lot of things in life that you can get a better understanding and retention of if you apply some of the things I'm doing. And I'm not a professional at it. I'm not one of the gurus on how to do it, but I am someone who has applied it to a basic extent and can teach and explain more or less what I'm doing and what's going on with it, and probably how you can pick it up to use it in your life as well. Other than that, that's pretty much more or less what I wanted to talk about. Once again, if you are someone who is trying to transition into a career in tech, a working adult, or maybe even a student who's thinking about how they can break into the tech industry, and you guys want to follow the journey of someone who's doing it, see how it's getting done, then please like and subscribe so I can put up more content in the future, and I hope you folks have a nice week.